Hello, I'm Professor Susan DeGise. This tutorial is on practice 5.7. Directions. Identify and label all musical ornaments. Briefly explain how each ornament should be performed. All right, so we're not going to listen to it until we try to guess what they're supposed to sound like. So I'm going to do the first measure of number 1 for you. So in the first measure, which is measure 69, I see 5 itty-bitty notes. So these here are grace notes. Now normally grace notes will have that slash through them, but when there's more than one grace note, they don't have the slash. So these are just to be played very quickly. Go ahead and label and describe the other ornaments you see in example 1. Pause the video and press play when you're ready. Okay, here we have a turn, and the way the turn is performed is the musician will play G here, and then goes up to A flat, down to G, down to F, back up to G, before coming to this A flat. Actually, I can play on the keyboard. So we have G, and then you would have, so that would be the turn. The grace note in measure 69 would just be played quickly. This last ornament is an appoggiatura. So this time it's different than a grace note because it doesn't have the slash. Okay, it's not multiple notes, so when it's a single note it should have the slash when it's a grace note. A grace note would fall before the beat like this, but because this is an appoggiatura, the first note should fall on the beat, meaning this little B flat falls on the beat and is much longer. So it's almost like it was an eighth note going to the next note. But this falls on the downbeat when it's an appoggiatura. All right, so let's listen to the performer and see how he or she interpreted it. There's the grace notes. There's the turn. All right. So in this recording, it was a gentleman, and he performed it pretty much as we discussed. Okay, let's look at number 2. On your own, go ahead and label the ornaments and think about how it should be performed. Pause the video and press play when you're ready. Okay, so in the first measure here, which is measure 2, we see a mordent. So a mordent is just going to be played, in this case, D flat, E flat, D flat, like that. So you start on D flat, you go up to E flat and come back down. There's one more ornament in this example, and that is this grace note. So here, the grace note has the slash through it, and that's going to be played before the note. In this case, before the group of notes. Now, is this an ornament? No, that's an articulation. Do you remember what kind of articulation this is? This is a marcato, which means to be played accented. All right, let's go ahead and listen to the performer and see how he or she interpreted this mazurka. All right, so that mordent was pretty clear, right? And then the grace note. So just as we expected. Let's go ahead and look at number 3. Okay, take a moment to label all the articulations, the ornaments. Pause the video and press play when you're ready. Okay, so here we have 2 itty-bitty notes. Again, these are grace notes. They don't have the slash because there's more than one note. Now here we have a trill, and this trill is special because there's a little sharp there. Oh, let me go back and play these grace notes. So without the grace notes, we have this. And with the grace notes, all right. Now the trill is cool because there's this sharp symbol here. So without the sharp symbol, it would sound like this. But with the sharp symbol, it sounds like this. So we're alternating between F sharp, G sharp, F sharp, G sharp. Now here, because it's the end of this trill, this is going to be treated like a grace note. So that's so that it moves smoothly into this next F sharp. So the trill with this E sharp going into F sharp. So let's go ahead and listen to the recording. Oh, that was nice. So that it was dramatic, that grace note, right? It led smoothly into here. It made it a little dramatic. That was quite lovely. All right. So you will encounter a lot of ornaments in your music. I mentioned in the book, we can't get into the entire scope of ornaments. There's so many, and ornaments actually changed definitions throughout time. So something in the Baroque era would be played differently than something in the Romantic era. So this is just kind of a broad introduction to them. When you're taking lessons, ask your teacher about these ornaments, and he or she should be able to help you play it correctly for that time period. You've now completed the tutorial for practice 5.7. Thank you for watching.